obviously I have to ask about the Red Chord.
Yeah.
Is that just like done? Or
No, I mean, it's never been. The thing is, I always think it's funny that people assume it's done, because when you look at like a lot of bands that have put out records with long spans of time in between, I mean, people, I guess being on tour a lot back in the day set a precedent for how active the band is. And that means, you know, well, we put out a record every 2-3 years. That means if we don't put one out in 3 years, then we must be on hiatus. But realistically, like, what's the definition of a band? What is it? You know, if you don't put out a record for 10 years, you're not necessarily broken up. We're not getting together.
We're just inactive.
Yeah, I mean, we've been inactive for a while. It's stopped. It's the weirdest way it happened. We were touring relentlessly all the time, and 2011 happened. We did this tour with Gaza and Trap Them, and then we got home, and we just like went to our houses and didn't email each other or call each other or talk about tours or take any tours or work on a record. It's almost as if we just went home and pretended it didn't ever happen. It was very strange the way it happened. I think we were all like in need of a break. Not Greg. Greg would have gone forever. One thing that's funny about Greg is like, he's the only one in the band I feel like who was, 100% at all times. Greg would play a show. If I asked him today, I always laugh. I joke with him about this idea. Like, if I asked him right now, you want to play a show tomorrow for one person and we're getting paid nothing, and it's tomorrow and it's a band we just made up, he would just say yes. Yeah, immediately. Yeah, I'll play any show, anytime, anywhere. But I know Guy and I were kind of burnt out. I said it a lot back when that happened, that it was my doing, but I think it was sort of a group effort. I mean, I was definitely really burnt out at that time. And yeah, we stopped doing stuff for a while. We didn't really have a plan for it. Greg got a job and actually at Whole Foods, and he would ask us, he'd ask Guy and I, he'd be like, hey, they're offering me a promotion. Should I take it, or are we going to go on tour? And we were like, no, yeah, take the promotion. Yeah, of course. We're not going to tell you not to take, more money. And then that kept happening, and he kept like moving up at his job, and then years passed, and then we played that show in Japan. Our friend, actually, it wasn't that long later. That was only like 3 years later. But our friend Adam, was it Adam? It was our friend Adam who reached out and was like, you want to play this fest in Japan? We said, sure, let's get our shit together enough to play a show, because we want to go to Japan. And we did that. That kind of got the gears turning again. And we played a few fests here and there. And then people thought we were going to do stuff again because we were playing some shows, and then we sort of went dormant again. But it's just it's like different things happening in our lives, and we're playing different bands and stuff.
Yeah, like the reason I say that is just because with this new project, it's like you said, it's basically the Red Chord, just without Guy, and with Sean and Jacob included. So that's kind of why I was like, oh, well, I mean, they're writing new music, like the instrumentalists are writing new music, but it's not the Red Chord. So that kind of made me wonder, like, oh, would there ever be another, like a Red Chord EP or whatever? Like, but you're saying the door is not closed, but it's just there are no plans right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's never really been closed. It's always been. We never made any kind of decision. We always would occasionally talk about it and say, oh yeah, we'll make another record, and I'm sure at some point we will, but who knows when that'll be. It's really each year we always have some kind of conversation where we talk about, well, maybe we'll do it this year, maybe we'll do it this year. It could be years from now. It's hard to say, but every time, every time I basically all this other stuff has been happening where for me at least, where I'm putting my focus somewhere else. So making a Red Chord record takes a lot of time and work. And for me at least, it's like a lot of emotional bandwidth that I just don't have right now because I'm doing other stuff.
Yeah.
And it's kind of tough too to like put all that stuff aside, you know, and like put all that work into something, you know, when I'm more inspired to make other music right now, you know, like I know Umbra Vitae has some parts that sound Red Chordish, but that's just, you know, it wasn't intentional. It's
just your
you know,
style.
the parts that I've contributed or the parts that Greg's contributed, you know, are our styles, and that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, there's no definitive answer for anything really still after all this time.